I'm Ben Hodges, U.S. Army retired Lieutenant General. My last job in the Army was as Commanding General of U.S. Army Europe in Wiesbaden from 2014 to 2017. I'm originally from Quincy, Florida, North Florida, and was in the Army for about 38 years. Since retiring, I have gone to work for CEPA, the Center for European Policy Analysis, which is a DC-based think tank that focuses on the transatlantic relationship, America's relationship with Europe, NATO, and deterrence. I had 3 years deployed into Iraq or Afghanistan, so I had 3 very different experiences. The first year was 2003 to 2004. I was a brigade commander in the 101st Airborne Division in the initial invasion into Iraq. So I was a tactical level commander in the invasion. And of course, that first year of the war, things evolved so much. Now, 17, 18 years later, as I'm older and can reflect more broadly, it's like, all right, why did we go to Iraq? I never questioned it for sure. I mean, I signed up for all of this. But as I look back, I can't connect the invasion of Iraq to 9/11. And there is no connection. I think my own experience was that I, at the level of a brigade commander, did not fully appreciate the nature of the conflict we were going into. And I can even remember, there were significant discussions at much higher levels about, okay, this has turned into a civil war. That was a real problem for the administration at the time. I never doubted that the administration and that the military leadership and the civilian leadership were doing everything we could to be successful, but I think it was because despite the efforts by many people, overall, we hadn't figured out we didn't understand exactly what was happening around us, or at least not enough people did. After Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014 and then illegally annexed Crimea, of course, the entire security environment had changed. There were still some reluctant political leaders in some European capitals and even in the United States to acknowledge first that Russia was actually even responsible. I'm proud of how quickly the Department of Defense and also NATO tried to turn the ship. Unlike when I was a lieutenant, when there was 300,000 troops in Europe, and the mission was to deter the Soviet Union, assure allies, and protect American strategic interests. The mission now was with 30,000 and a much larger area. So the task was make 30,000 look and feel like 300,000. Second thing was we had to depend more on allies. I mean, we had to, I needed Romanian air defense, German bridging companies, Polish transport units, intelligence sharing with all the allies. Estonia, they'll know more about Russia than we'll know in 1,000 years with 1,000 satellites. And it was amazing the impact of a company of American soldiers, 120 troops. Maybe they were paratroopers, maybe they had tanks, maybe they were in Stryker wheeled vehicles, whatever it was. Allies, they just wanted to see that U.S. American flag and U.S. Army, and that was like, okay, the United States is here with us. That was very powerful. The Kremlin has leverage over so many different countries, or let me say governments, because of energy and other investments. Of course, it's still a big market. And then there are historical reasons as well that countries are reluctant to challenge the Kremlin. We continue to believe that somehow the Kremlin actually is interested in win-win solutions, that you can reason with them, and administration after administration, Republican, Democrat, has believed that somehow they could reset the relationship, or that they could somehow work with whoever was in the Kremlin and come to agreements and we could all kind of get along. The Kremlin has zero interest in that. They don't believe in win-win, they only believe in win. And the sooner we realize that they only respect strength, then the sooner we can actually have a kind of predictable, stable relationship. I think that the Russians will stop only when they are stopped. Unity and cohesion between the United States, Canada, and Europe is essential. It's the only way we're going to be able to deter Russia from further aggression and also figure out how to deal with the Chinese Communist Party. It's not either or, you're dealing with both at the same time. Our European allies have got to be confident that the U.S. is committed to stability and security in Europe. My first trip to Vilnius, I was a commander of NATO's Allied Land Command, and this was 2013. And I had gone to dinner there with General Leka, who was the commander of Lithuanian land forces. So he said, Ben, let's go for a walk. I want to show you around Vilnius a little bit and show you the tallest building in Vilnius. About 4 blocks later, we stop at this old kind of gray, ugly square building there in Vilnius. It was only about 4 stories high. And he said, here it is, Ben, the tallest building in Vilnius. And I looked at it, and then I looked back down the street at our hotel, and I said, General Leka, I don't get it. How is this the tallest building in Vilnius? He said, well, you know, this used to be the KGB headquarters in Vilnius. I said, yes, I did know that. He says, from the basement, you can see all the way to Siberia. And then he pointed out the names of all the people who had been murdered in that KGB building there in Vilnius. And it never felt more alive to me. This challenge, the competition, the desire of the Kremlin to suppress, keep people down like that, and what people were willing to risk to get out of there. That left a mark on me. 3 things attracted me to New Debate. The first thing is the people who were already in it. The leadership team, the professionals, and the staff were all people that I already knew and respected, or that I liked them immediately when I met them. The second thing is I like the focus of New Debate on trying to create a new debate, to change from the divisive approach that we have now, and instead get back to the fundamentals of what we all actually care about. Those shared values that are the foundation of the United States, the Alliance, all the countries that we work with around the world, and those things that people that formerly were part of the Russian Empire or the Soviet Union or the Warsaw Pact, what millions of them have risked their life to escape over the past many decades. New Debate was focused on those foundational principles. That attracted me. The third thing that really attracted me was this seems like an opportunity, a new style of media that helps Americans and Europeans understand better what the challenges are, and also to consider the solutions in a different sort of format,